If you're someone that's serious about succeeding in life, this video will teach you the 9 axioms of success. Today is 24th June 2022. I've officially made 1 lakh rupees.
All right, Shrey, what's your question, my friend?
So for those of you wondering what the hell is an axiom, according to Google, I'll tell you the exact translation. An axiom is a statement or a proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true. So that's what basically an axiom is. It's basically a fact. Fancy word for a fact. And I made you click on this video because I used the word axiom. Points for me. Like the video. So what is the first axiom for success? First one is that your obligations are now gone. Your obligations to your teachers, your obligations to your friends, your obligations to your parents, your obligations to your relatives, your obligations to your sisters, brothers, everybody. It's gone. So that means that anybody that tells you to play it safe, or to not do this or do this way, be careful, get them out right now. You okay, listen to them but don't act on it. Listen to it but don't change your mind based on it. Just make a list of who these are the people, 1, 2, 3. I listen to their advice only. Not a single person will influence me other than these 3 people. I listen to them, fine, they can talk all day. I'm not going to listen from them. So when I was in Mumbai working as a real estate agent, I was guilty of doing this. I was influenced by my parents too much, all right? And when I got pissed off, I literally I got so angry that I blocked all my I blocked my parents, and then within 1 to 2 days I made significant progress. I got hell lot of listings for my business, and I even got a job offer in 1 day. That's the level of control that people have over you, and you don't even realize that, bro. When you get out of that, you're an unleashed beast. Oh man, it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling when you're free. Okay, so your obligations from today are completely gone. Don't kill your relationships. Don't just be that kind of a politician like figure that you're okay, yeah, I agree, okay, I'll think about it. Yeah, you're right. But in your mind, you're like, this stupid idiot, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And this is a very important thing for you, especially because everything is on you now. Now, if you fail or if you succeed, the blame is on you, because no one else was responsible for it. Once you stop listening to people that you don't need to listen to, every failure that you have is on you. It's good accountability as well. Now, one common doubt that this axiom will get is that, Shrey, isn't this too selfish? Isn't this too cold-hearted? Letting go of all your friends, never calling them if they don't serve you, never talking to your parents about stuff that you're doing. Isn't it a bit too shallow? The reason why this is not cold-hearted or shallow or selfish is that you are worried about 2 to 6 people in your group, includes parents, friends. You're worried about them and how they feel. You're focused on making 2 to 6 people feel good. Instead, you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could make $1 million and help thousands of people with that money. You could help millions of people with that money. Do you understand? So while you're worried about 2 to 6 people, the guy that forgot about 2 to 6 people and pursued the greater good has a much bigger impact on the world than you will ever have. That is not cold-hearted. You are cold-hearted right now. Just imagine if Warren Buffett never became a billionaire and never donated billions of dollars. Now, let's not get into what is happening to those dollars. The point is, he made a bigger impact on the world than you did. If he would have stayed in his little shack, never founded Microsoft, he would be a guy that cares about 2 to 4 people in his friend group. He would never defy them. He would never do something bigger. That's more selfish than anything else. Success is not selfish at all. People don't understand. When I succeed, I'm helping way more people than you will ever help in your life. So now axiom number 2 is that you need to quit motivation. Quit motivation seeking. That means podcasts, to a large extent, they're all motivation based. Seminars, webinars, like courses, YouTube videos, to a large extent, like motivational, most books as well. Unless you directly benefit from reading those books, like I have to be reading books constantly because I have to make videos out of them, right? So if you're not doing that kind of a thing, you just need to quit books altogether. And the reason is that you are guaranteed to doubt yourself when times get hard. Instead of watching a motivational YouTube video, like learn to deal with it yourself. Because if you're gonna reach that level, like the top level entrepreneurs are not watching motivational videos. Like you need to be thinking like the top 1% if you want to get there. The top 1% aren't reading books. They're only reading like specialized books. They're not reading like the general, like think fast, think slow. I've never read the book. Like they're not reading all these general books that most people read. The Atomic Habits, no one's read that. And you need to remember that if something is motivating you, you're being sold to in the back end. So beware of me as well in the future. I'm gonna motivate you like crazy, okay? But if you're a true viewer of this channel, this may be the last video that you ever watch from my channel, and you will never watch YouTube again. But for those that will continue watching, you will be sold to on the back end. Trust me. I was quite for books until I read this. It does make sense. There's an argument for both sides of why you should read books and why you shouldn't. You should read books provided it's the right book. If you're just reading for the sake of reading of other people's failures and understanding other people's mistakes, you're probably not taking your own life seriously. Now, again, I have to be reading to provide this kind of knowledge to you. So like I don't, मैंने ये प्राप्त नहीं किया है ज्ञान. मैंने ये पढ़ा है, मैंने ये analyze किया है, and then I'm talking to you. Okay, so for me and creators like me and any other field that requires you to constantly learn, go for it. Read books. Axiom number 3 is no more social media and no more TV shows, TV in general. No more distracting yourself. The only reason to have social media, okay, the only one exception is that if you're making money from it or if you're trying to make money from it. Any other reason is just an excuse. It's harsh, but you don't need to know what a single friend is up to. Like I follow people, right? But never do I watch their stories. Never. I just don't care about what they're doing online. If they're actually my friends, they'll call me and be like, okay bro, today was insane. Like I did this. I'm looking for those kinds of friends. Like your mom and dad doesn't have Instagram. They still have friends, good friends, better friends than your friends for years. I don't want a follower. I want a friend. If that guy is actually your friend, he will call you. He will call you personally, or he will meet you up in person, and then you can talk about what you did in your life. I don't need to view anybody's stories. Social media, only use it for building a brand or selling a product, nothing else. Okay, so one maths that I did to understand the real cost of spending your time on social media. Okay, I'm gonna read this off my notes because I can't memorize it. In India, the average wage per hour is like 32.5 rupees. Damn less, but okay. 32.5 rupees is the average wage in India. If you spend 3 hours per day on Instagram, on social media, on YouTube, whatever, which is vastly underestimating because most people spend way more than that, like probably like 5, 6, 7, even 8 hours on Instagram. Okay, so let's say 3 hours. 3 hours if you spend on Instagram per day, that's 21 hours a week you spent on social media, which is 682.5 rupees per week. Damn less, but fine. But in 30 years, if you continue spending 3 hours a day on Instagram, on social media, on TV, that would be 10 lakh rupees. Bro, I would happily take 10 lakh rupees in 30 years. Happily, right? Anybody would take 10 lakhs in 30 years. So when I'm like 48 or something, I'll take 10 lakh rupees happily. And don't forget that you are not the average worker. Like if you're watching this, you're probably gonna make more than 32 rupees per hour. Okay, so it's gonna be more like 50 to 100 rupees per hour, or even more for some of you. And you just simply cannot afford to spend 3 hours a day on Instagram. Like you just cannot. The next axiom is find one friend and you only need one. Good if you have more, but you only need one. If you don't currently have a friend or you are struggling to find like-minded friends, I have a video that I made just now that teaches you how to find like-minded friends. Okay, so go check that out. Okay, and then again, you have to treat this like super harshly. Like you don't need to be in contact with this guy every day. Like just once a month call and be frequent on text. Text, boom, 5-minute conversation, done. Because you don't have time, bro. You're working. You do not have time to call anybody, not even your best friend. Okay? And make sure that you guys are working in different industries, so So it just makes it impossible for you to compete in the future. Okay, it gets really messy once like two best friends start working in the same industry. It gets super messy. Alright, number 5 is that your health might take a hit, but it doesn't need to. Okay, as long as you do the basics of exercising for at least 1 hour a day, eating good food, good quality food, organic food, and not sitting. So did you know like sitting like literally kills people? Like sitting for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours a day literally kills people. I've quit sitting. Like, you know how I sit? Like, I've quit sitting. Like right now I'm sitting because I'm making a YouTube video, but I've started to sit like this. All day I would sit like this. I have my desk on this level and I'm working. Do you understand? Like you should not sit. This video is not about sitting and pros and cons of sitting, but just look into it. Like you should not be sitting even for like 1 hour. Okay, like sit as less as possible. And the kind of health damage that you'll have is probably the stress levels that you go through and the lack of sleep and those kinds of things. But it's kind of unavoidable by like creating systems and those kind of things. Like, so you can create like a proper timetable. Again, like if you're a serial entrepreneur, like many things would not happen according to timetable, but try your best. Okay, so your health may it's definitely gonna take a hit, but do the essential things and you won't end up looking like this. So if you are young, which most of you are, it's perfectly fine to test your limits. So work as hard as possible and like reach that limit where you know, okay, I cannot go beyond this. So just sustain that, like don't go beyond it. There's no need. Otherwise your health may take a negative impact. Okay, so everyone's limit is going to be different. Just find yours and go for it. Next is learned sales. You need it in every single interaction that you'll have in life. Now, even if you decide that you don't want to pursue a career with sales, it's definitely important to learn that skill. Bro, honestly, like you need to forget all these complex skills like math, science, all this different stuff. I'm not saying it's not important, like for a few people, but like it's not a transferable skill. If you learn sales, I'll be the guy hiring the mathematician. I'll be the guy hiring the scientist. Okay, if I know sales and I need those people develop my products, okay, and I'm the one selling it, because the mathematician, the scientist is just gonna make the product. Who's gonna sell it? The salesman is gonna sell it. Like in any industry, you need salespeople. So you need to learn skill. Like even in personal life, like dating is a good example. Friendship, like everywhere, you just need sales, man. Okay, and it's the one skill that is transferable across every single industry. Even right now I'm selling to you. The reason you're watching till here is because I've sold you on my personality. I've sold you on this knowledge that I'm giving you. It's sales. And if I say right now, if you want to watch more videos like this, pay me 5,000 rupees. A few of you might say yes, if I've managed to sell you properly. If I haven't, then maybe I'm not a good salesman, or it's maybe that you have no money. Okay, next is focus on scaling. Nothing matters more than scale. So early in your career, you may have to work a job, and a job is where you trade your time for money. So that's completely fine. So in the free time, except your job, you have to spend time on scaling a side business or scaling some kind of business that you started in the side. Scale. And a scalable business should have two kinds of attributes. One, that it has recurring income. The other is that it has a large addressable market. You can like start with a small niche, and then eventually once you become an expert in that niche, can you branch out to different markets as well. So an example, so let's say I start a jewelry business, and then later I found out, okay, clothing is good as well. So once I'm like proper established in jewelry, then I could maybe think of diversifying into clothing or something else. Okay, so that's an example of a large addressable market. And an example of a business with recurring income. An example that's not applicable is that selling books is a terrible way of getting rich. Why? Because if I'm a writer and I produce a book, my friend will only need one. Like he just needs one book. So he'll buy one book. There's no recurring income. I only make money as long as people keep referring. And there's only a limited amount of people in the world. So it's not recurring income. That's why you might have seen like that newspapers, magazines, all these different things are sold on a subscription basis, because you need to develop that kind of recurring income for any kind of good scalable business that you think of while doing your job or career. But number 8 is that stress is fine, but it's not fine to be worried. Stress should be only enough where it allows you to think creatively. For everybody, that's going to be a different level. But for me, is like I love good amounts of stress. Like I really love it when I am stressed, and I'm really calm at the same time. So in my mind, there's like lots of going on, but I'm just calm to a point where I'm blissful. It rarely happens, and I need to figure out how I can achieve that state more often. But I find that at that time, I'm the most creative out of any other normal circumstance. So for me, that's high stress and calm at the same time. I don't know how those two are possible even at the same time. Like high stress automatically means that you're not calm, but probably there's like some kind of stoic philosophy that I'm following subconsciously, which is allowing me to like there's external stress, but it's not reaching to me. Okay, so that's the point where I'm the most productive. That's the time where I'm the most creative. Okay, so when you're super stressed, like you stop being creative, you think like a robot, you think emotionally. So we want to avoid that. Finally, the last axiom of success is that don't live above your means. But at the same time, frugality is never a good strategy. I'll tell you the difference between frugal people and future successful people, future millionaires, you could say. Frugal people are too busy cutting costs. Okay, frugal people they're not open to spending money. Okay, frugal, they like hoarding. Okay, whereas future millionaires focus on creating more income. So I don't care about my costs. I'll be comfortable as long as I make more money. So I like that mindset much better. It allows me to invest in different things. It allows me to explore different opportunities. Even if I lose money in the short term, it's because I'm focused on creating income. Okay, so forget about cutting costs. If you want to be a future millionaire, just focus on making more money. That should be the priority. More. You'll have to spend money anyways. Like as you move up, you will have to spend money on better clothing. Like you can't be looking like a junkie. Like better clothing, better cars, like better house, better office. You need to have that kind of perception. Like to an extent you can get away with it, but it's much better if you like leave that kind of impression on everyone that does business with you. So you're gonna have to spend money on that anyways. Okay, it's probably like thousands of dollars you'll have to spend, lakhs and crores of rupees you'll have to spend on these things. But it's absolutely worth it because you're using that to create more income. But at the same time, be aware of not falling into the trap of flexing. Like you need to live below your means and only spend on essential items. Absolutely essential items. Okay, so you're not frugal, you're not worried about cutting costs, you're focused on creating income. Okay, but that income creation should not be at the expense of going above your means or going into debt or doing any of that stuff. Even if it means that I have, let's say, 2 crore in the bank and I really want to like level up my social status. So I'll buy a Lambo, 1.5 crore, okay. That Lambo allows me to get into networks like different kinds of car clubs where I can meet more people and do that kind of thing. Again, all this is theoretical. I'm just explaining to you what it means to not be frugal and to live below your means at the same time. Cool. So final comments. It's super easy to get in through 1%. The competition is ridiculously low. Like if you work hard, even if you work hard a little bit, you'll realize that these kids out here are not doing anything. Like once you reach the top 1%, will you actually find challenge. And even like the big dogs, like once they reach a certain level, they kind of slow off. Do you think that Mukesh Ambani works as hard as he used to 20 years ago? Do you think that any of these entrepreneurs work as hard as they used to when they were young? No, right? There's only like 1 to 10 people like in the billionaires list, like still working like to maximum capacity every single day. It's just so tempting to like, okay, I've made the money and I'm chill. But that's an opportunity for you because you can overthrow that person. Does that make sense? Super easy. Just follow these rules and you'll be perfectly fine. I have lots of other videos just like the one you watched. If you like this video, Go browse my channel. If you find something interesting, go for it. Won't be disappointed. Salt, take care.